So this is the final video of the module, and in this video we're not going to be focusing so much on the block, but more so on our app settings and theme settings. And we'll take a quick look at everything else that's left in the administration section, which isn't a whole lot because we've covered almost all of it. So the app settings are basically settings that apply to the entire instance. And if you go back to the first module, we've talked about what an instance is. It represents a single customer under a single subdomain. So we'll go to the app setting first, and then we'll have a look at edit theme. So the first setting we can do is a timeout. So we can set the inactivity timeout on the block, or not on the block, on the whole instance. And this will force the user to stay active on the page. So we will just put in 1 minute, and I'm going to press apply. And you have to log out and log back in to let it take effect. So what I'll do now is I will pause. I will basically not move the mouse and not touch anything, and I'll pause the video for 1 minute so we're not waiting. So a minute later, this popped up. So inactivity detected, you're about to be logged out. So you can either choose to continue or carry on logging out. A bit of a visual error there that we need to fix. You can't see the text. And if you want to carry on, you just say, I wish to continue. What I'll do is I will set this back to something like 60. The next thing you can set is the maximum number of login attempts in a certain amount of time. So we'll say 3, and then it times out for 30 seconds. I'll do shorter amount just so we can demo it. So I'll click apply, and we'll log out of this. So we'll log in, and I put in the wrong username once, twice, 3 times, and now we're going to try the 4th. And we get too many failed attempts. Please try again in 11 seconds. That was because 4 seconds was gone after I'd the 3rd one. That's pretty simple, and it's a handy security feature. The next one is sign in with Google. It's a fairly advanced one, but this part of it is actually quite easy to understand. So what I won't do here is go into detail about how to set up the Google credentials. That we might we'll have that in our documentation. What I will do is I will just add this URL to the client ID so that we can attempt to add it. Click save. I'll copy the client ID. So these instructions here are going to assume that you know how to set up the Google settings. We can assist with that anyway, and if we're struggling, we can have more documentation and stuff ready for that. But just in summary, what it does is it allows you to sign in with Google instead of a password. So I'll log back out, and as you can see, there's an option here to sign in with Google, and I can sign in here. And now we're logged in. The final one is the language settings, which we've already covered in a previous video when I was explaining about the fields. So now the other part of the settings is our edit theme, and this is more related to visual settings. So all these are just different things that display and don't display on the screen or in parts of the system. So for example, the alerts. Let's just go back to a block where or let's just quickly create a block where we send an alert. I'll do a very basic one. Oops. Alert test. And I'll just put it right in mail alert field. Alert and choose the alert. It doesn't matter. And I just need to open Mailinator because that's where our that address is set up. BW demo. So I'll just get an alert sent now. Press submit. It most likely didn't send an alert. I just realized I forgot to turn on one setting in the alerts. So it needs to be apply on new submission or whatever one we want to send. So that's why nothing got sent that time. So we'll do one more. And now you can tell the alert is going. So we come in here and you can see this text at the bottom. This mail was sent from Blocworx. Please visit Blocworx for more information. So going back to the app setting, or sorry, the theme settings, that can be changed. So we'll just say, so it gives you the default one there, but let's just say my custom text. There is one slight improvement we have to do. This setting only works when the dynamic alert editor is turned off. So we're going to have that implemented, a fix for that implemented pretty soon. But if this is turned on, it'll still use the default one. But if this is turned off, we'll see now the custom one coming in. So we go back to our mail alert field, press submit, and here's the one that just come in, and you can see my custom text. So we'll come back to this one, the reports, when we do our next module, which is all about the automations. I've already shown you some reports, but there's an automatic email that you can set up, which I've briefly touched on, but I never gave any examples. And that automatic email has a similar message at the bottom, which you can change. So it's possible to change this logo up here, and that can be done simply by uploading a logo. Now we do have a recommended size, which is 210 by 86. So we'd recommend, if you are doing that, to maybe get your designer, or if you can yourself, make a nice image that fits that size without stretching, because this will stretch it otherwise. And you can delete logo then by remove it by deleting the logo. You can also set this background up here. And again, there's a size recommendation, 1900 by 90. And again, it will stretch. So even though, to give you kind of a silly example where this image, actually no, it doesn't allow this one. Sorry. Yeah, so that one's pretty strict because it will end up looking very strange. So finally, the default is to show this, but there's also another logo that can be added here. So menu logo, which is this one here. So we can use this, and we have our company logo there. And what this does is turn off our Blockworks and version. Some of these settings may not be available to you. It does depend on the contract that you have with us. Um, so then there's the login page. Now there's a bug there. We're just fixing that where you can see the two. So you can have the logo not appearing when you're doing the login, or you can have it appearing. Few tweaks we do need to make to this that we're going to be looking at. Finally, there's one more thing, which is you can actually have the language setting accessible from the header up here, and you can change it up here, which is quite nice, but unfortunately at the moment this changes the language for every user, so it's not something we recommend, but that is available if you really want it. And that's our theme settings. So what I'll do, I'll just change our language. So that's the app settings and theme settings. And the next module we'll be moving on to all our automations. Thank you. Bye bye.